Yeah, I remember going to a party once and there was like, I don't want to name names. There was every star you could imagine that was there. And I was like, what am I doing here? Right?
Yeah.
And I had to go use the bathroom. I opened the bathroom and I was like, that is so weird. Why would you be snorting powder? Like, I was like, why would you? I literally thought someone had taken like loose powder that we take down our shine with and put it in line and was like sniffing it for some reason. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I remember someone come up to me going, put this piece of paper on your tongue. And I was like, I'm not eating paper. Who eats paper? And then I find out like 10 years later that was acid. And I was like, they put it on paper?
That is right.
I didn't know that. Like all these things, that was not my world.
Right.
It was not my world. I just really, truly loved acting. I didn't even want to be famous per se. I was that little girl that wanted to be in the pageant, but I didn't want anybody looking at me.
Yeah.
You know, I just enjoy doing what I do. Oh my gosh.
Did you ever call home and be like, Mom, Dad, there's powdered sugar, paper, there's
my gosh.
all this stuff is going.
I will tell you that one time when I was driving in to go to USC, it was like my senior year or something, and I was living off campus, and I was driving in, and I went from a place that had clear blue skies, and you could see houses, you could see everything, you could see for miles and miles, right? To a place that was so polluted with smog that you couldn't see your hand before your face sometimes. And I remember pulling off on the side of the road and using a payphone to call my mom and say, did you know that there are mountains with houses on them all around Los Angeles? I had never been able to see, because the smog was so bad, those beautiful foothill mountains and those gorgeous homes that were there. And I was just so taken aback the day that I saw them.
You could actually see, which is rare,
I could see
right?
them, which is rare.
Yeah.
That I called my mom and was like, it's so beautiful here, because it is such a beautiful state.
It is, yeah.
Oh, it is for sure. Yeah. We lived in Huntington Beach for like 7 years and just, oh my gosh.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So were your parents ever like skeptical of what you were doing, or were they just supportive, or?
Well, my dad luckily had this friend named Lee Anderson who was in business with him, and he was a really smart businessman. And he said to my dad, he basically talked him into it one night over a beer and said, if my daughter was this skilled at something, I would back her 100%. And so that's what my dad did. He thought, well, if Lee Anderson would support her, I'm going to invest in her too.
Okay.
So then I majored in theater, and that kind of helped me get my feet wet. And then I just I took off. I was very lucky. I was very fortunate. I did it the good old-fashioned way. I got auditions. I sent out headshots and resumes and did plays, and people came to see me. And I got an agent, and then I got auditions, and then I got jobs. It was pretty much your classic standard way of doing it. I didn't sleep with anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody who knew somebody.
Yeah.
I just auditioned.
But did you register with like casting companies, or like extras? Were you ever like, did you want to work that way or anything, or no? You just, so did you have to get a manager right away, or an agent or something like that?
I got an agent pretty much right away.
Okay.
And then they got me auditions. And then there was one time where truly luck does come to play in it. There was a time where I was walking on the lot at Paramount, and I was going to some voiceover job. And as I'm walking, literally this casting director comes out for this show, Almost Perfect. And he cast Friends, Jeff Greenberg. He cast big things. And he comes out and goes, you. I said, yes. He goes, you're an actress. And I said, yeah. And he goes, come here, could you read this? And they had to fire someone last minute on this show it was like this last minute scramble, and they needed someone to come into work the next day. And I read it, and then he's like, don't move. And then he pulls me into a room with a bunch of producers. I was literally on my way to my car, and I read it, and they're all dying laughing. And the next thing you know, I'm on a set.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it was that fast.
So it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Like, wow.
That's crazy.
That was wild.